It's a 10-man gang that has been prepared to finish me. And in fact, some statements were made that I will never see the inside of Parliament again.
Can Mudavadi be the next president?
William Ruto is our candidate. And the deputy party position is for Mount Kenya region.
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
When you saw Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi walking out, what went through your mind?
I think it's all about exactly that. I mean, maybe Kalonzo Musyoka would feel like he's a junior, William Ruto is junior to him, because by the time he was vice president, then William Ruto was a member of parliament. I think he was a member of parliament and a minister. And it would have followed then, therefore, that Kalonzo Musyoka should be more senior even now. But then that's not the case. I mean, things keep on changing. We have, even in the current parliament, first-timers who are more vocal, more ebullient, more visible than people who've been in parliament for 3 terms or thereabout. So it cannot follow that then Kalonzo Musyoka, for example, would see that William Ruto doesn't deserve it, because even for Uhuru Kenyatta, he bypassed many people to become the presidential candidate in 2002 and eventually president in 2013. So it doesn't always follow that trajectory.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, where do we go from here? I mean, they call it a partnership, right, between ANC and UDA. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that Musalia Mudavadi could end up being the running mate, or what's this partnership about?
People are fed up, by the way, Jeff. And let me just take you back a little bit, if you allow me. Last year I was taken through hell. My tribulation started on 1st of February when somebody, the vice chairman of the Jubilee Disciplinary Committee, served me via WhatsApp at 8 p.m. Some charges, and I was supposed to respond. That was on a Tuesday. I was supposed to respond, and by Thursday I was supposed to appear at the Jubilee Disciplinary Committee, and I was taken through hell. I was in court over 30 times that year, and eventually they created a scenario where I did not have a stay order together with my colleagues, but I was a real target, because the cases of my colleagues, the 5 others, was actually it had been kind of left in limbo for about 10 months, sorry, I beg your pardon. And then they revived it just because they didn't want to be seen to be targeting Isaac Mwaura alone. And let me tell you, Jeff, because Kenyans need to know what I went through. So I started this every other time, and eventually they declared my seat vacant. But how they had planned is that they had misinformed the media that the cases had been, and we had won the case at the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal, which is largely controlled by ODM, by the way. I must call them out today, and the registrar of political parties, because the way they behaved was not right at all. And then later on, I lost the case. So on a Tuesday, I was supposed to come to this Senate, and yet my seat was being declared vacant the same day. So I was supposed to get the shock of my life and disappear into oblivion. But thank God, it didn't happen that way. I rushed to court. We argued our case. We won. I have had 7 cases. Jeff, 7 cases against me, instituted against me within that 1 year. And even then, there was even a squad that had been prepared just like to do a Dennis Itumbi on me. It's just that at that point in time, I went to Dubai. It's a 10-man gang that has been prepared to finish me. And in fact, some statements were made that I will never see the inside of Parliament again. So really, just because of declaring support for the deputy president, leave alone even the issue of UDA, Jeff. The deputy president, even now, is a deputy party leader of Jubilee. To an extent that then, some people somewhere feel like your political allegiance is owed unto them. And it's the same thing that Musalia Mudavadi was speaking about in the earthquake on Sunday. That people feel so entitled to the fact that it's like some people are slaves. You can only get a command and do as accordingly. That's not right. It's democratic. In fact, I can say without a doubt, the people who have reneged on the agreement is those people who now do not want to see the deputy president becoming president. And it's not fair, because for me, I'm a Christian. I'm a born-again Christian. I want to keep to my promise. If we say that after the President Uhuru Kenyatta is in office, then the deputy president, we keep the promise. And we sit down and agree and negotiate, if at all, so that then we can move the country forward. But right now, one of the things also that has caused me trouble is the fact that Jeff Koinange, I called out the government on the economy. Are you aware, for example, that now we are borrowing about 800 billion for recurrent expenditure? We have come from a situation where we had a recurrent surplus, and then we were just kind of borrowing domestically, a little bit crowding out of local investors. But right now we don't have development money, and we have now even surpassed that, and we are borrowing to pay salaries. In 2014, Jeff Koinange, I said it, that in 10 years we are not going to have a country. I have been vindicated. I'm extremely surprised at the correctness of that prediction. And at that point, I was even told off by Reverend Mutava Musiemi that, Mwaura, you can work eloquence here, but you're not going to change anything. Because I could see where we were going, and as a development economist, I could see the trajectory, of how things were going on. And having been in the National Assembly 3 years in Budget and Appropriations Committee, in the Senate 3 years as a Vice Chairman of the Finance and Budget Committee, you can tell the pulse. And so whatever Musalia Mudavadi was speaking to the nation on Sunday, I could resonate with it 100%. Okay. And this has not just come as a shocker. It was long in coming. We have decided to be like the proverbial ostrich, where we are burying our head in the sand. And I had even said that I pity the person who is going to be the next president. By the way, some of those statements are the ones that brought me a lot of trouble, because I spoke truth to power. Now it's the truth. Everybody is saying it, because by the end of the day, we don't have money to govern our country, and we are going the Greece way.
Tell me something. Can Mudavadi be the next president?
That is an arrangement that certainly can be canvassed, but from where I sit, of course, as Isaac Mwaura, William Ruto is our candidate, and the deputy party position is for Mount Kenya region. That I can tell you without doubt, without fear of favor. But this is beyond that. It's above individuals getting what position. It's about really having a new start for the country, Jeff, so that people don't feel like they are the only ones who are entitled to lead the country. That I must say without fear of doubt.
But you just said the running mate has to be from the central Kenya. Is that what you just said?
That is an internal arrangement. It has nothing to do with a particular individual called, for example, Isaac Mwaura. Or Jeff Koinange. I mean, at that point, of course, it has to percolate to an individual, and at that point, God only knows who is going to be, and let the best person that God has anointed to be. But you have to ensure that then it's not a ping pong. This person, then another, this and no. For me, that I do not agree, because as a person who has been defending human rights, one of the things that I have championed, because I realize that's the case, is that no matter how I fight for these who are downtrodden, the disadvantaged, if there is no equal opportunity for everyone, even them, they cannot benefit. So we need an equal opportunity, that anyone, despite their tribe, their gender, their disability, their color, whatever, that they can rise to become the President of the Republic of Kenya. And that is sacrosanct. That is something that we must defend at all costs, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
High on your agenda once you go back to the Senate today is the Political Parties Amendment Bill. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that?
I think the Political Parties Amendment Bill, on one hand, you can say it has some positives, and I want to say so because you can see the desire to manage coalitions in a more neater way, looking at the experience of CORD in 2013, particularly CORD in 2013, and NASA in 2017. So it's a problem brought on board by the experience of the opposition, because if you look at there are some parties that initially, ideally they were coalitions, but they were political parties. NAC was a single party, but ideally it was a coalition. So was the ODM of 2007, and so is the Jubilee, the current Jubilee. But you can see the issues of MOU in 2003, 2005. You can see the same challenges around now in the Jubilee, because of course we those who support the deputy president, we are effectively the opposition in government. I think that is the term, the opposition in government. So you want to manage how people, for example, have a ticket for the president and the running mate, because Kalonzo Musyoka had to run on an ODM ticket last time. That is something we need to debate so that we agree. But the definition of a political party is already cast in stone to the extent that then it is defined by the Constitution. However, Jeff, a lot of powers have been given to the registrar of political parties first to determine the party register, which then can be. I can tell the whole nation, the registrar has no capacity. He has no powers. He has no capacity. Not power, I beg your pardon, to conduct such an exercise because it's a deprived office. I think we should have had the registrar of political parties as an independent office under the Constitution, but now she's subservient to the appointing authority, and then for such a registrar to determine the agents of a political party, for such a registrar to be involved in the internal affairs of the political party, that is not what I intended. By the way, for your information, it's on record. Amos Kemunya put it very clearly that some of these amendments are around party nominations are as a result of my own bill, the political parties primaries bill. Yeah, because I came up with that as a result of my experience with both ODM and Jubilee, and we worked with the registrar of political parties to develop that bill, and the IBC and other stakeholders. In fact, as a task force, a multi-agency task force had been formed out of that experience. But then the piecemeal application of the same to justify a political end, especially seemingly to favor Azimio, is uncalled for.
How so?
Yeah, because by the end of the day, it is trying to create an arrangement where you are forcing people to come into a partnership to camouflage the real intentions, to conceal the new partnership, so that people in central Kenya, for example, cannot run with ODM because then they will come through, say, the Jubilee Party, as a stakeholder in Azimio. That's the whole idea.
Tell me something, Senator. Is OKA dead?
Yes, okay, is dead, according to me. It was split into smithereens on Sunday by the earthquake, and the first casualties were one, Kalonzo Musyoka and Gideon Moi. But then, Kalonzo Musyoka is the greatest casualty, in my opinion, because you see, Gideon Moi has since declared that he wants to be the Baringo senator. So already he's sorted. But for Kalonzo Musyoka, which way? I'm making a passionate appeal that he should join us, because he say he has no option joining Raila Odinga, and if he were to run alone, he can only eat into the erstwhile support base of Raila Odinga because he was his running mate last time. So honestly, he can only join us, and we are willing to work with him if he really is interested in becoming part of the new dawn. Because Musalia Mudavadi's fulcrum was about to Sidanganyane, because he feels he was cheated in 2007, in 2017. So there has been a series of betrayals, according to him, and that is the same feeling you get from Moses Wetangula and Kalonzo Musyoka. So I think it's time that they realize and recognize that we have a debate now between the past to the present and the future. So where we are determines whether we want to be historical, and that is the Azimio la Kuzimia way, or we want to go the Hustler Nation bottom-up microeconomics way, where we actually do agree that the problem of our country is not the constitution, is the economy.
You're still in Jubilee as we speak, right?
Of course, I am in Jubilee.
When does the crossover begin? Because obviously you're UDA as well. So when?
All of us are. I am not a UDA member. My brother Jeff of Koinange.
But you are all but
I
UDA.
support the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is the Deputy Party Leader of Jubilee. What is happening is that people are dishonest. Honestly, people have since moved camps and supported other candidates. For example, Sakaja, who is a senator for Nairobi, is supporting Mudavadi. Kamanda is supporting Raila. For me, I'm the most truthful person, because I'm supporting the deputy party leader according to the Jubilee 10-year program.
But okay, so for instance, like yesterday, Jaguar decamped and joined UDA. So does that mean he's still in Jubilee, or he's? How does that work?
Unfortunately, Jeff, and let's just agree, our political party management really needs to change. it appears the owners of Jubilee did not want it to succeed, as to occasion a situation where William Ruto would benefit from that superstructure. However, it was a blessing in disguise, because all of the ills of the Jubilee administration then cannot be cascaded to the side of the deputy president, and therefore the otherness then is with him and his allies, rather than the handshaker Raila Odinga, who then is carrying all of the sins of the current administration. Yet he is kind of the de facto deputy president without being an incumbent. So you can see how the handshake dynamics have made things to be very amorphous, so that the polemic nature of our politics that defines the left and right then is not there. In fact, Raila Odinga is largely a left-wing politician. That's why he has his 6,000 handout clarion call, but he's being supported by the right-wing pro-establishment forces. And William Ruto is kind of center-right. That's why he's pro-economics. But his support base are the hustlers, who are largely the left-wingers, if you can purely look at it from that Western kind of prism of political ideological divide. And so therefore, this is unprecedented. I thought Raila Odinga wanted to get the system and the district support, and that would guarantee him the presidency. You can see William Ruto is ahead of him by double digit. So he's still missing the mark. But if, for example, in my opinion, Jeff, NASA had remained intact, they would have run Jubilee out of town. By now, you'd not even be hearing about us. They would have had the gravitas, but now they don't have.
I was going to quickly ask you, if the election were held today, who would win?
William Ruto, without a doubt.
You say that very
yes,
very confidently.